It's hot enough to boil iron, but it can't because of all the gas in there. And then it gets back and it meets up with the liquid oxygen, which is coming down here, and then you set fire to it and all the tubes fill with flames. That jet engine we looked at earlier in the programme, that develops 90,000 pounds of thrust. This churns out £500,000. And the space shuttle has 3 of them. This is the shuttle's fuel tank. It may only be 130 miles to space, but to cover that distance, the engines will use 500,000 gallons of fuel. And that works out at 2 feet to the gallon. Despite the cost, however, NASA does need to test these engines once in a while. So they built this place in the wetlands of Mississippi. The first thing they installed was a huge loudspeaker, through which they played white noise to simulate the sound of a rocket. They then sent a number of trucks in different directions out into the wilderness, and the drivers were ordered to stop when the noise levels became acceptable. This gave them an imaginary boundary line, and anyone living on the inside of it was offered a simple choice. Stay, and you'll never hear another television program as long as you live. Or take the NASA shilling and get out. No one stayed, and NASA ended up with exactly what it wanted. 125,000 acres of nothing. They even had to move 5 cemeteries, because the noise they were planning on making would wake the dead. Don't worry if you can't hear what I'm saying. I couldn't even hear myself. This is the loudest sound you could possibly conceive. And, as it turns out, the cleanest. Now, the most amazing thing is that that cloud up there, which was generated by the engine, is just a mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. It's water vapour. And in about an hour's time, someone in Mississippi is going to get wet washing. It will actually rain. I told you, it's raining. That's unbelievable. Oh, NASA's playing God. It's making its own weather. Strangely, though, despite all the power and all the fury of those incredible main engines, they only provide enough thrust to get the space shuttle 2 feet off the ground. They're only there to steer it. So what modern marvel delivers the real oomph? Well, actually, man was on the right track 500 years ago when the Chinese were messing around with their fireworks. Indeed, the story goes that a chap called Wan Lu figured that if he got some really big fireworks and attached them to the back of a sort of chair thing, and then if he lit them, he might be able to fly. As ideas go, this one makes me want to run. Wan did fly, but sadly from Mrs. Wan's point of view, it was in several different directions all at the same time. Pity, because the idea was spot on. Those big white tubes on the side of the shuttle, they're the key to its speed. They provide 86 million horsepower. Oh, NASA may call them solid rocket boosters, but if you talk to astronaut Tom Hendricks, he'll tell you they're nothing more than dirty great fireworks.
The solid rocket boosters are firecrackers that we cannot turn off once they're ignited. Once you light them, you have to let them burn out.
Our commander, Tom Hendricks.
Tom is one of only 200 people who are qualified to fly what is basically the world's fastest air bomb repeater.
When a pilot climbs into the shuttle, he or she straps it to themselves.
Go. Eagle. Go. Ecom. Go. Booster. Go.
The pilot starts the auxiliary power units. The vehicle comes to life.
10, 9, 8. We have a go for main engine start.
At 6 seconds before launch, the engines ignite. You feel the vibration. The vehicle begins to shudder. When the three main engines light, they are bending the solid rocket boosters about 3 feet. As the solid rocket boosters bend back to a straight up vertical position, that's when we ignite the boosters and release the bolts so that everything lifts off in a vertical condition. And this 4.5 million pound vehicle that you see sitting here lurches. You pray that the motion is up.
It is just a huge explosion, isn't it?
You're going 120 miles an hour by the time the tail clears the tower. There's no turning back. With a solid booster, like a firework, you light it and you let it burn. As we accelerate through supersonic, through the speed of sound, we're riding the thrust. The three main engines are pumping fuel fast enough to drain an Olympic-sized pool in less than a minute. We're consuming 12 tons per second during the first 2 minutes of launch.
And then when those 2 minutes are up, the solid rocket boosters are empty.
Booster officer here in Mission Control standing by for solid rocket booster shutdown and separation about 5 seconds from now.
And there's a tail off of the SRBs. And there's a flash of SRB-7.
So as pilots, we're relieved once the solid rocket boosters separate, because now we have more control over this awesome machine.
They may be glad to see the back of them, but those fireworks are what it took to get the shuttle to orbital speed, 17,500 miles an hour. They're what it took to turn the pilots into astronauts.
Here you see the transition to MECO.
Sure does show you coming back off your chairs after the 3G. Real nice.
Funny, isn't it? That triumph of engineering is probably up there now, floating with the spirit of Wan Lu and his 500-year-old dream of rocket-propelled flight. Good night.